Hi, welcome back to day 3 of the Live for 5 series. I am Amanda Schumann, and I challenged myself to go live 5 days in a row to bring you a branding series. Day 1, we covered how to know if it's time to rebrand. Day 2, we tackled defining your personal brand and how that can connect you to your audience. And today, we are discovering how to narrow down your ideal client. And so now that we know how we want to present ourselves as ourselves and how we want our brand to be perceived, I want to talk to you about niching down. And I know a lot of people, they have this mindset that a wider net will catch more fish. And that's just not the case whenever it comes to marketing. I am a huge believer in that you can start niching down to start tailoring your service and your message and your packages to better serve your client. I want to start off by giving you an example of a photographer. So a photographer, whenever they first start out, they like to just take on any and every job that they can. They will do weddings, they'll do events, they'll do headshots, they'll do baby showers, they'll do Fresh 48. I mean, anything and everything, they will shoot it. And that's great. Just starting out, trying to find out what you like to do, where your passion lies. That's great. But once we get that down and we've served a few clients, we have, some sessions under our belt, or if you're in a different industry, you've served some clients there, you have been doing this for a while, you can start to niche down. And so as a photographer, I have one who was a specialty. She really enjoyed serving people who were married, who were getting married later in life, like maybe in the 40 to 60-year-old range. It may have been their second marriage. It may have been their first marriage. A lot of those, it was their second marriage. They already had kids from previous marriages, and they wanted to blend their families together, whether their kids be, teenagers or in their 20s, 30s now. But she had a niche for serving older clientele, like 40 to 60-year-olds who were getting married. And so she realized with this that some of the things that were important to traditional brides just weren't important to them, like bridal portraits. They weren't really going to wear a traditional dress, so that just wasn't going to serve them well. They weren't really into engagement shots. They were, an older couple. They weren't really on social media. They had a quick engagement, a short ceremony. It's really like the whole thing was a quick process. But some of the things that were important to them was, blending of the families, getting very intimate and meaningful shots, and most importantly, heirloom products. They really wanted printouts. They wanted albums. They wanted stuff to hang on their walls. And so with this, she knew who her ideal client was. And so she could better serve them by creating the perfect package of stuff that really enticed them. She could create the perfect messaging on her website, on her social media, anywhere like that. She knew where to find them. Hi, Katrina. She knew where to find them. They were older, they were wiser. She was able to define her message and her website and her packages because she niched down. She knew who her ideal client was, and she also knew who she was as a personal brand and how maybe some of that could benefit her older clients. And so that's just, I wanted to give you a short example of how that niching down can really transform your business and the way that you serve your clients and serve them better. So one of the ways that I like to start this process, which I'm going to drop another free download because let me put it up here. It's going to help you narrow down who your ideal client is. If you just don't know who your ideal client is, then this is going to help you. And I call it the T-chart method. And the way that it works, which if you download this guide, it has it already pre-planned for you. It has different brainstorming questions that you can think of. I want you to think of 3 past clients, ones that stand out, maybe the most 3 recent past clients. And I want you to make a T-chart on a page for each one. So 3 pieces of paper for 3 clients. And a T-chart has the line that goes down horizontally and then the one that goes vertically. And on the left side of the paper, I want you to write down likes. And on the right side of the paper, I want you to write down dislikes. And I want you to think about the service, the experience, the entire experience from finish, or from start to finish, as a whole. And I want you to write down everything that you liked about working with this client. Maybe it was the way that they got in contact with you. Maybe it was the way that they told you, that you're the professional, they were going to go with your opinion, and things that you didn't like as well. Maybe you didn't like how they dragged out the project longer than it was supposed to take, or they were texting you and, you're not a fan of clients having your number and texting you at all hours of the night, whatever it may be. And I want you to do that for each 3 client. So likes, dislikes, repeat second client, repeat for the 3rd client. And then after you do that, you can see the commonalities and the similarities between who it is that you're serving, that you enjoyed serving, and also the dislikes. One thing, whenever I did this, I realized that a lot of my dislikes were like the clients asked a lot of questions, like maybe after the project was finished, they kept emailing me with like questions. And so I realized that if I provided better education and answered those questions up front, that would alleviate some of that back end work. So there's really multiple benefits of doing this. And then going forward, you can take this information and you can help magnetize your ideal client to you. And one of the things that I think a lot of people miss, and I think it's very beneficial, is to start calling yourself the go-to person for whatever that niche is. So for mine, I really enjoy working with photographers and wedding industry professionals. Whenever I figured that out, I changed my social media, profile bio. I changed the messaging on my website, and I started, writing captions on Instagram and stuff, calling out photographers and wedding industry professionals. Before I was even that's who I was working with the majority of my clients, I started to call myself that. And whenever you call yourself that, then other people are going to start calling you that too. You're like giving them permission in a sense. And you can then, maybe alter your hashtags on Instagram to better find those ideal clients. Or you can change the messaging on your website. You can just take this so many different directions because you are niching down, you're finding your specialty, you're calling yourself that specialty, and then you can start to perfect your message, your service, your packages. And so with that, you can serve your clients better, and you also are creating less work for your own business because maybe you go from having 5 different packages to just having 1 or 2. Because those are the ones that work for your clients. So I want you to grab that download because it's going to be immensely helpful. It goes through different brainstorming questions to ask yourself while going through this exercise. And then if you haven't yet, I am doing a webinar on how to turn website visitors into leads. It's on June 12th. And you need to sign up for that webinar because it's going to be kick-ass. I'm going to be going over different strategies to use on your website, creating a client journey. The one mistake that I see people making over and over again that's causing them to lose clients. And so join me for that webinar. I will drop the link in the comments below for that as well. And then join me back here tomorrow where we are going to be talking about your brand message and how we can take everything that we've learned thus far and package it into a message that's going to connect and magnetize your ideal client even more. So join me tomorrow for that. And yes, there will be for the webinar, there will be a replay if technology is nice. I tried doing this webinar last month and I had technical difficulties. Oh, technology. So if you register for it, you can also, if you're out of town, I don't know what your schedule looks like, but I use a platform that allows you to view it mobily. So I don't know if that's an option, but definitely register for it so that you can get the replay. And then join me tomorrow while we talk about your brand messaging.